Okay guys, so I've been doing research for a couple days now trying to figure out which teams work on Hall of Illusion Stage 95. It's been fairly hard. I mean, the main thing is that, like, a lot of units just don't work on it because Kyoto auto heals, so it's just been kind of rough, but I have most of the units here. I have 95% at the moment, like, for what's out now. We get Season 5 in a couple days, so I can't showcase those units on it yet, but for right now, this is what I have. If you don't have Julius, Kyoto is a good replacement for Julius. I can't use him, obviously, but, so yeah, let's get into the teams. Okay, so let's get into the first team. This one mainly revolves around Julius and the debuffers. So, Julius just there to do his, his normal damage that he does. And then, so is there for the reduced speed, reduced defense level 4 and the reduced speed. Also, once you get all your debuffs, on all the characters, that's when you use your skill 2, mainly just so you can get the increased crit damage for Julius, as well as getting the reduced attack, because Kyoto is pretty strong. And yeah, that's about it for Yuno. And then Mars. So Mars's combo is much better than his ult, and especially the combined combo. Specifically you need both of them to do the combined combo for this. Like, you don't want to use just like the normal combos because it doesn't really work well. But anyways, yeah, this one's for the reduced all attack, which goes along with just the other reduced attack. And then this is mainly there for, like, the little units. Like, you want to use this for those two. He can't stun Kyoto, but he can stun the other two, so it's fairly important to do that. And then this, you don't want to use this on Kyoto, especially because gets the reduced defense level 4, so this just is worse and you can't stack them. So yeah, don't use this on Kyoto. And then Lotus. Lotus is there to inflict the incapacitate, which you can stack with the reduced defense. And he's also there for the reduced speed, which is just fairly important all around. And then his skill 2, it's just for the extended debuff duration. I mean, these are pretty good to help Julius, but in general, like, you really just want to extend your debuffs. So yeah, let's get right into it. Okay, so first off, you want to use Yuno's combo, the reduced defense like we talked about. And then you want to use Lotus's ult. It's fairly important to set up on this run, just because everything requires you to be set up, or else Julius can't do enough damage to make it worth it. You just want to hit that. Hit that. If you do get crits, by the way, you can kill him first. If you don't get crits, though, it's not a big deal. It doesn't hurt you at all. What you want to do is do that. Should kill there. And there we go. Now our run's almost completely set up. Just like that. Okay, this is where it gets kind of hard, just because you do have to kill Kyoto in a fairly fast fashion, or slow, depending on how big your team is. And it's also dependent on how you built your gear. But yeah, so you want to kill Kyoto here, you want to set up buffs again. And yeah, it just takes a bit, but once you get it down, you get it down. Okay, and that's the first team you can use to beat Kyoto on stage 95. Now let's go to the... Okay, so this is going to be the second team we're going to run. This team you can run on auto, so it's not as hard. You literally just sit there and watch it play. Um, so I'll go over the preset skills to make this just, as efficient as possible. I'm going to use Julius's ult first, and then use his skill 2. Charmy's ult first for the defense, and then her skill 2. And then the same from the last run with Mars's combo with his skill 2, and then Lotus and his ult, and then skill 2. So yeah, let's get right into this one. This one should be fairly easy. So you can just sit back, do whatever you want. Okay, so that was team 2. Fairly easy. I literally did nothing. So yeah, let's go on to team 3. Okay guys, so the third team that I ran was a Black Asta team. I tried to run it with healers. It's fairly hard, just because he gets pulled out of anti-magic a lot, and it becomes more of a nuisance than anything. So instead, I ran Nebra. Fairly good. I can explain the kits. So this is kind of how you want to run it. You don't really want to use Nebra's ult that much, if at all. Mainly what you want to use for her is her combo, which applies Incapacitate level 4, and then you want to use her skill 2, which essentially transforms, it just transforms an enemy, and it applies Reduced Defense level 4, which goes along with Lotus's ult. It's basically a way to be able to stack, like, Incapacitate. It's just Incapacitate and Reduce Defense. You don't, like, they do stack, so you don't need to worry about it. And then it also inflicts buff immunity, which is fairly important, because they apply a lot of buffs, which you've seen in the first 2 runs. So yeah, we can get right into it now. Okay, so for this run, we mainly just want to do the same thing we have every other run, and just apply it here. So just hit Lotus. Especially in this run, Asta is going to be basically your main DPS. You just kind of have to get him into his anti-magic range and you're all good for this run. Combo there. Okay, and that's run 3. And then I'm going to just go over some other teams that you could potentially run. I personally couldn't do them just because it's a little bit hard with the way I have my gear set up and everything. But this is one team you could run. The main issue with this team that I ran into is that you have to run it where you just run it like this, right? And there becomes an issue where this does nothing. Obviously, it's always bad. And you can't really use Raya on this team, so you can't have the good combo, so it's basically just garbage, especially because you're not going to be able to run anybody who just applies continuous damage. So you want to run the skill 2 and the skill 1, but because of how Kyoto heals, he heals more than the damage you deal, for the most part, unless you build a really good crit set. So if you have a lot of really good crit gear that you can apply to Licht, then I would say he's definitely a good option. If you need to replace Julius as well, you can run Kyoto. I don't have Kyoto, sadly. I wish I did. He's like one of the only characters that I have that I don't have that's actually usable. In place of Charmy on most of these teams, I tried Kahono. Where is she? She's not great. Just doesn't work out very well. You know, like, especially because not all of her skills heal, which I can check here. Like, this one heals fairly well. This one doesn't really do much. I mean, it applies the increased defense, but it's just not really worth it, especially on the teams you have to run and how much damage you actually have to do and how much damage Kyoto does. It doesn't end up working out too well, but if you are lacking in healers, Kahono can definitely be a good option. Mimosa. Where's Mimosa? Oh, here. So Mimosa can also be a good option. I would definitely pick Mimosa over Kahono, but at the same time, she's fairly squishy. And if you did have to pick a healer, I would say it should be this one. This team, if you have a ton of gear and you just missed out on both of these units just because you quit playing it around that time, which there should be a Julius rerun banner, but I'm not exactly sure when Charmy will come back. She came back on JP for a bit, and you can like get her in boxes on JP and stuff, but we don't have that on global at the moment, so right now Charmy's unavailable. But yeah, you could maybe run it like this. These two are somewhat mainstays of the team. If you have Black Asta, you could run it like this, potentially, like a different team. Obviously you'd want to switch up a lot of this, but you could like kind of keep Mimosa, you know, just like play around with it, figure it out. And William's fairly good with Black Asta because he applies his Fortify to everybody, which is fairly good. I think it's 34%. Check. Okay, well, it doesn't come up with the stuff, but I think it's 34%. So those are some extra teams that you could run if you need it. Okay guys, so this is one of my first videos. If you guys have any questions for me, you can drop them in the comments or add me on Discord. I'm fairly new to making YouTube videos as well, so if you have any advice on what I should be doing, what I could do better, I'm working on like my stutter at the moment, which I do have, so that's something I am working on so I can make better videos and better content. If you have any recommendations for videos you guys want to see, I would appreciate that as well. I'm not fairly busy at the moment, so I can churn out videos. It just takes a little bit with like the editing and everything else that goes along with it. So if you guys like the editing in this video as well, please let me know. If I'm editing too much or too little, I would love to hear about it. And yeah, if you like my video, subscribe. Peace.